Hey guys, welcome back to Truth, Trust, and Trajectory. I'm your girl, Shakim B. And today we're exposing a topic that is as personal as it is universal. You are what you are attract. Have you ever looked at the people in your life and wondered why certain types seem to keep showing up? Or why the same patterns keep repeating? Well, today I want to take a deeper look at how our own self honesty or lack of it plays a huge role in the people and experiences we invite into our lives. If you want to keep learning more, keep watching. All right, hey guys. So today I want to start with a confession. These are my confessions. All right. I've noticed that sometimes I lie to myself in very small ways. So, for example, I'll say, I'm going to quit smoking. And then when the moment comes, I find every excuse to pick up a cigarette. Or I'll say, I don't want a relationship. Or I don't care when my feelings got hurt, knowing deep down I do want a relationship. These small lies seem harmless at first, but when they build up, creating this gap between who I truly am and who I pretending to be. It's funny how these little lies can seem so innocent, but they start to shape the type of energy we put into the world. Here's what I've come to realize: by lying to ourselves, even in small ways, we're essentially saying this is okay. This lack of honesty is acceptable. And in doing so, we attract people who mirror that same behavior. Suddenly, we're surrounded by people who aren't being fully honest with us because we are not being fully honest with ourselves. It's like we're sending a signal that says, I accept dishonesty, even if it's subtle. There's a saying that goes something like, you attract who you are despite of who you think you are. And if I'm lying to myself about what I want, it makes sense that I'll attract people who are not straightforward about their intentions either. Isn't it ironic how we often hold others to higher standards than we're willing to hold ourselves? We'll get frustrated when someone isn't transparent with us, yet we aren't fully transparent with ourselves. We demand loyalty or clarity from others, but then avoid being honest to our own needs or desires. Why do we do that? Why are we willing to accept certain behaviors from ourselves that we wouldn't be able to tolerate from anyone else? It's as if we believe we can separate ourselves from the energy we're putting out. But the truth is, the world responds to the version of ourselves that we present, honest or not. So, what's the takeaway here? Self honesty, duh. What are we talking about? The more I commit to being honest with myself about my habits, my desires, my weaknesses, the more I align with the kind of energy I want to attract. When I own my truth, even if it's uncomfortable, I begin to invite people and experiences that align with that authenticity. There is something incredibly powerful about looking in the mirror and saying, this is who I am, flaws and all. It's in that space of honesty that we start to shift who and what we attract. And if I'm clear and honest about what I want and what I need and what I value, then I can only accept people who bring that same honesty and clarity, right? That should be an obvious given, okay? And I just want to add something before I go through the closing, right? Just to share a little story because this was actually really quick. So, and just talking about that a little bit more, right? I noticed that I noticed some really interesting things, right? So, and I think um, it was in Robert Greene's book. It's called Human Nature, right? And even on one of his interviews, he talked about one of the most important things is knowing what you don't want, right? Which is very contrary to a lot of information that I've heard over like the past 3 to 5 years in this spiritual community, because there's like this taboo around spirituality. And when you manifest, don't think about what you don't want, only think about what you do want, right? But if I don't know what experiences I don't want in my life, right? And I only think about the things that I want, and I only have, um, it, if my reality has only reflected the things that I don't want because I've always thought about what I do want, then wouldn't it make sense for me to start thinking about, hey, this is what I don't want. This is what I will not accept or tolerate in my reality, right? Not even from myself. That should be a given, I would think. But that's just me, right? So, with that being said, what I started to notice is the moment I started to become disgusted with, you know, traits that I don't want, I start writing stuff down. So I say, okay, this is I don't like this type of behavior. So with this type of behavior, I cannot be reactive or responsive to this because it's disgusting. It's beneath me, right? And so somehow that transferred over to me and the way that I handle myself and how I perceive myself and the things that I'm willing to tolerate from myself, right? But I said, hey, I don't like the way an alcoholic smells, right? I've actually stopped drinking. It's been a, at the time of recording, it would have been just about 2 weeks. Okay? From the time that I made a conscientious decision, I don't want to drink anymore. I also said that I don't want to smoke anymore. But it's like on autopilot, so I keep buying cigarettes. But I'm also starting to form my mind and rewire the circuits like, hey, once I make a decision, it's final, right? I can't be flip floppy with it because then my experiences are going to be flip floppy with it, right? So the cigarettes are next. The alcohol been done. And I'm actually very proud of myself because I actually went out to dinner with a friend of mine um, a couple of days ago. And, it was like a girls' night and everybody was ordering drinks, and I had soda and water. And I said, it wasn't that difficult for me to decide, hey, damn, I really want to have I want a drink, right? It wasn't even that. It was the fact that I had already put it in my mind that that's something that I don't want. It's not something that I will tolerate or deal with. And so if I set that standard within myself, I can't have anybody else around me that is a habitual drinker. You know what I'm saying? Not only is it gonna put me on edge, it's triggering, not in a way that it's like, oh my God, I can't be around you if you're having a drink because then I'm gonna want one. No, it's not that. It's just like, hey, my life partner cannot be a drinker. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a no. So just with small things like that, like making small changes like that, it's like, hey, I don't like liars, but I'm lying to myself. So does that mean that I am a liar? I don't like liars? Attack liars? Yeah, sounds about right, you know? So these are just things, right? So once I start knowing what I don't want, now that makes it easier for me to have my sights set on what I do want, because if I'm capable of doing that and being that within myself, if I become the list myself, then I know I want someone that's going to be an addition to that, right? Not an equal or anything like that's not that, but an addition, right? So, just with that being said, I feel like those are, things to really think about. And, I meditate on a daily basis. I meditate right before bed. And, sometimes I forget to give gratitude to the fact that, Spirit is working with me and through me to make me the person that I'm asking to be, the woman that I want to become, right? There's nothing classy about an alcoholic woman. There's nothing attractive about a chain smoking woman, right? Not only that, it gives off you don't really care about your health. You don't care about your life. And I do. I care about my life very much. I love my life. So I'm trying to restructure things so that my mind, my body obeys my mind and not the other way around. And then everything in my reality reflects that, okay? The other thing that I noticed with that, and this is going to be the last thing because we're starting to get up there in time, but I noticed when I, set standards to the things that I don't want, right? Communication is always a big thing with me, right? Consistency and communication. And so, consistency, I can request that. I can say that's what I want because that's what I'm doing for myself. I wake up every day and I show up for myself. I pour into myself. I'm, doing the things that I need to do so that I can align with my life purpose. I'm trying to give back to the collective. And even when I don't feel like doing it, I still have to show up for myself. You know what I mean? I got back in late last night, and initially I was like, I'm gonna just go home and go to bed. And then, there was like a small voice in the back of my head that was like, listen, Shakim, like, didn't we make a promise to ourselves that we were gonna journal before bed every night? Like, just do a recap of the day? Didn't we say that? Didn't we say that we were gonna meditate before bed? Didn't we say that? You know what I'm saying? So then it's like, oh man, now I gotta hold myself accountable. Cause I damn sure can't expect any hello. There's nobody else to do it. I gotta do that for me. So that's very important. So now when someone shows up as a representative of the things that I don't want, and I'm still working on that part, but as of right now, I'm disgusted by like the things that used to move me. I feel like, and I used to make excuses for. I no longer make excuses for them. Like I don't find it attractive, um, anything attractive about a man who is unable to communicate and be consistent. Okay, to me, it's very, very much disrespectful. It's giving very much. You might have somebody already, and maybe they made you mad, so you're trying to hit me up, and that's a hard no. You know what I'm saying? So I'm ignoring all advances from the devil right now. All advances, including anything that my mind tries to conjure up. Not happening. It's not going. Okay? So here's my challenge to you and to myself. Let's start with the small things. If there's a lie you're telling yourself, big or small, try to confront it today. Recognize it, name it, and ask yourself what it would look like to be fully honest. Remember, the people and experiences in our lives are reflections of the energy that we're putting out. If we want better, we have to start with ourselves. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Truth, Trust, and Trajectory. If today's message resonated with you, please consider sharing it and leaving a comment down below. Also, guys, please make sure you subscribe. It would help so much. And remember, honesty with yourself is the first step in attracting the life and the relationships that you truly want. I love you guys so much, and peace and hair grease.